Welcome to your energy reading for the week of April 28th. First card that was pulled is the energy of the lizard. Instinctual, sensitive to the subtle, dreamer. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception. As if it has a sixth sense, the lizard hears what is yet to be spoken and sees what is yet to manifest. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights in big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. When in balance, artistic, telepathic, spiritual. When out of balance, elusive, non-committal, flaky. To bring into balance a creative project. So a couple days ago, actually I think it was yesterday, maybe even be today, Pluto started spinning backwards. It's still going in its normal orbit, but instead of rotating as clockwise, it's starting to rotate counterclockwise, but still going around the sun in the same way. But with that energy, it's starting to stir up all of our past and starting to bring things to the surface that we may have been putting off for a long time and not wanting to look at. And so it's giving us an opportunity to look at these things and finally clear them from our being, to allow us to bring in new energy that does serve us and let go of either our past that is no longer serving us or facing a part of us that we might have been ashamed of or embarrassed of, and either taking ownership and learning from it and utilizing that energy to move forward, but looking at our past in a different way. And so utilizing this time, Pluto will go retrograde, I believe, until October. So over the next 5 months, it's giving us an ample amount of space to really look at our lives and what wasn't working and how we want to change that into what will work for us. And so at the same time, there is a blessing in this space of non-movement, non-action, on some level, stagnation in the normalcy of our lives, and is really focusing and asking us to slow down and look at what change we want and what we need to heal that we haven't allowed ourselves the space to heal. And it might not be easy, but it will be worth it. And your life can be even greater than you'd ever imagined it to be. But you do have to go through the door of uncomfortability to get to the other side. So this lizard energy is really tapping into those subtleties, those inner parts of you that know there's a feeling, there are things that are coming up, and you could, it's very intuitive, and you could easily push it to the side, or you could take note of that feeling, of that whisper, of that gut instinct, and start to unpack that and start to look at, why is this coming up and what is this here to tell me? If you feel like you hear a whisper in your ear of something to look at or something to unravel from your past, do that. Journal, talk to someone, go for a walk and think about it, and seeing how maybe something from your past is affecting how you live your life now and how you might want to change that to move forward so that you can get out of your own way. To bring into balance a creative project. So if you feel like you're not an artist, that's okay. We technically all are, but maybe write your way through this. Go and get a coloring book and start coloring. Or if you are artistic or creative and feel like you can tap into your creative side, however you feel you can best use your creative medium, do that. Paint, draw, coloring books, sidewalk chalk, writing, music, food, cooking. Like, there's so many different artistic forms that you can create from. So allowing yourself the space to create and see what comes from that. Maybe there's something that brings you joy that you didn't realize still brings you joy that you used to do when you were a kid. So tapping back into that space. And then the subconscious card was the elk. So I've mentioned this before, 85% of the decisions that we make or how we operate comes from the subconscious space. The subconscious space comes from the times that when we were a kid, things that we've learned or seen growing up, things that are passed down to us from our parents that were either unresolved or resolved, traits that are passed down to us, may they be helpful or not. But the subconscious space for this week is the elk, stable, resilient, headstrong, the father. So again, this doesn't mean that this has to be your subconscious, but knowing this energy, you can utilize it to best support you this week and how to navigate that space, navigate your decisions. So the great elk represents the earth element in its masculine form. This means it provides underlying support and stability amidst life's many changes. An elk personality, whether male or female, is fully established in themselves and knows their core values. They become known and respected for acting in ways that uphold those values. Sometimes the elk's ego can become inflated, but for the most part, they make damn good fathers, mothers, lovers, and friends. The world needs more elk energy. When in balance, supportive, kind, consistent. When out of balance, pretentious, high and mighty. To bring into balance, eat and drink more consciously. So we're starting to see that factory farms are now slaughtering their meat or their animals because there's not as high of a demand for it. And so changing the way that we eat moving forward, whether you go fully vegan or vegetarian, or if you can just lower your meat intake to once a day, if that, or maybe once a week, depends, but 3 times a day isn't necessary. Especially if you're practicing intermittent fasting, you tend to just eat 1 or 2 times a day, and if you do follow like a keto diet, it doesn't all have to be meat. So continuing with this, starting to change, being aware of how you're eating and drinking. Maybe you're drinking alcohol more often, maybe setting some boundaries around that if it's not serving you. As mentioned with the lizard card, and the Pluto in retrograde, this is the time to make space for the energy that we do want in our life. And to do that, to uncover those parts of ourselves that we've been hiding or not wanting to face. But having this energy of the elk, the strong, the supportive, the stable, knows their core values. Like, this is so important to embody during this transformational phase, because if we have this ability, we have the support, then we're more able and capable to go through the darkness and go through to the other side to bring in the bliss and the love and the good, for lack of better words. But the world is calling in this elk energy. It needs to be more stable, sustainable, resilient, kind, supportive, consistent. We've been consistently asleep and been consistently just working unconsciously, like not even in the subconscious, but unconsciously, in following whatever it is that media tells us to do, or someone, our boss or whoever, tells us to do without it thinking for ourselves. So now this is giving you the power back into your hands of what do you want life to look like. What actions do you want to continue doing, and what actions do you not want to continue doing? So know that you're supportive during this time, and know that you are loved, and that we're all going to get out of this time, and we're all going to be better from it. And maybe not in the moment, and maybe not everyone right away, but we're already starting to see on some level people connecting more, people being more kind and saying hi on walks and runs and things like that. And for those that aren't and are protesting and are being and hoarding things and not thinking about the good of all, they'll get their wake-up call on some level, respecting and understanding that everyone's on their own journey, but all you can do is focus on yourself and what you want to heal, and hopefully that energy reverberates and reflects back out into the world. So continue to do your work and continue to focus on love and yourself in that sense and the greater good of all, because what you do affects the world. What you do makes an impact. Every ripple that happens will go back into the water. And what I mean by that is everything that we do will make its way into the energy field. And so it essentially affects everything around us. So the last card that I pulled is the affirmation, I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. Consciousness can mean this collective energy that we're all a part of. And going back to, what you do matters. So doing whatever it takes for you to make the most out of what you do, to matter, to get closer to the greater good of all. So I hope this resonates. Give it a thumbs up if it does. If you would like or can, I'd love it if you subscribe to this channel. We've got some interviews coming up on top of these readings, so happy to share so much wisdom and knowledge and stories and energy on this platform, in this space. And hopefully you are finding the time to connect to yourself and to cultivate all the energies and all the feelings that you wish to have and embody them. You matter. Thank you for being here and thank you for listening.